Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today, you're going to focus on the vocabulary words and pictures for second grade journeys, lesson 19. And our anchor text is the story, The Signmaker's Assistant. So, for this lesson, you're going to turn and talk. That means I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to think about your answer. Then you're going to pair up with a partner at home, or you can be my virtual partner, and then you're going to share out your thinking in a complete sentence or sentences. So for this lesson, you will also need a pencil and a piece of paper or journal page, and you're going to divide the paper into 3 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, or thirds, and then you're going to write your numbers 1 to 8. And for each number, you're going to write the key vocabulary word. In the second column, you're going to write the synonym. And a synonym is a word that means the same. For example, combine is a synonym for mix, and mix is a synonym for combine. They mean the same thing. If you don't catch the synonym, you can always write the word a second time. And then in the third column, you're going to draw a quick picture or sketch to help you remember each word. Let's go over our learning targets. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the story, The Signmaker's Assistant. The second learning target is I can talk about the vocabulary words and pictures. Success criteria. That means how will you know you're successful at using pictures and context clues to understand the important words from the story? And also, how will you know you're successful about talking about the vocabulary words and pictures? Well, here are our steps to success. I will look closely at each group of pictures. Number 2, I will say what I notice about the pictures. How are they the same or similar? Number 3, I will read each word and its definition. And number 4, I will write each word 1 to 2 times, write a synonym, and draw a quick picture or sketch. Let's go over our turn and talk rules. If you have a partner at home, number 1, you're eye to eye and knee to knee. You always need to face your speaker and look at them as you're talking. Number 2, first one person talks, the other person listens. Number 3, then the next person talks, the other person listens. 4, don't talk too long on your turn or your partner will not have time to have a turn. I'm going to ask you these same questions. What do you notice or see? And you're going to say, I notice or I see, and then finish your thought. I'm also going to ask you, how are they all the same or similar? How are the pictures the same or similar? And you're going to say they all, and then finish your thinking. You can also agree with me or your partner and say, I agree with you because, and tell me why. Or you can disagree and you could say, I disagree with you because, and tell me why. So here's our first group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I noticed two people. It looks like there's a photographer and someone helping them. In the next picture, I notice a veterinarian, and it looks like her assistant helping with a dog. In the third picture, I notice people working together at a factory or at a workplace. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They all, well, they all show number 1, assistant. Assistant. If you have an assistant, they assist. So ASSISTANT, assistant. So for number one, write the word assistant. An assistant is a person who helps someone, a helper. An assistant is a person who helps someone, a helper. So a synonym or a word that means the same is helper. So in the first column, write number one, assistant. A synonym is helper. So write that in the second column. An assistant is a helper. The assistant is helping to put up this sign. The assistant is helping to put up this sign. Or you could say the helper is helping to put up this sign. Think about it. How can an assistant help someone learn how to do something? Or you could say, how can a helper help someone learn how to do something? Number two, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a man and a woman shaking hands like they agree on something. In the second picture, it looks like a boy and a girl are agreeing to play basketball because the boy has a thumbs up and they have thinking clouds and they're thinking about the same thing. In the next picture, it looks like people are agreeing or shaking hands. So, how are all these pictures the same or similar? They all Well, they all show agreed. The root word is agree. To agree means to accept. So agreed is past tense, accepted or had the same opinion or idea. Agreed means accepted or had the same opinion or idea. So a synonym could be accepted. So for number two, you write agreed, agreed. And another word for agreed or a synonym for agreed is accepted. To accept is similar to agree. The people agreed that this road needed a stop sign. The people agreed that this road needed a stop sign. You could also say the people accepted that this road needed a stop sign. Think about it. What kinds of chores have you ever agreed to do? Or you could say, what kinds of chores have you ever accepted to do? Next group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a boy is clearing the table or taking things away from the table. In the next picture, I see a desk that was very messy and then it became clean and didn't have as much clutter on it. In the third picture, I notice a person is clearing the table. They took a lot of the dishes off the table. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They all Well, they all show cleared. So the root word is to clear, clear, Clear. Cleared means it's already happened. Cleared. Made the place empty or neat, emptied. So cleared means made the place empty or neat, or you could just say cleared means emptied. So a synonym or a word that means the same for cleared is emptied. He emptied the table of all the dirty dishes, or she emptied the desk of all the cluttered mess. Cleared means emptied. The crossing guard cleared the way so these children could, I'm sorry, I can't read the bottom, could cross. So you could also say the crossing guard emptied the way so these children could cross. So think about it. After it snowed, what kind of machines emptied or cleared the streets? So after it snowed, what kind of machines cleared the streets? Or you could say, after it snowed, what kind of machines emptied the streets? Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a boy has a history test and it said F for failed. In the second picture, I notice that someone is putting their thumb down and they're unhappy. And in the third picture, again, a boy has a paper that says F, and I'm assuming that means for failed. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all, well, they all show failed. So there's the root word fail, F-A-I-L. And when you add the ed, it means it already happened. Failed, F-A-I-L-E-D, failed. Failed means did not succeed, missed, or not able to do something. Failed means did not succeed, missed, and not able to do something. Failed. So a synonym or word that means the same is missed. The sign failed to keep the dog off the grass. The sign failed to keep the dog off the grass. Or the sign missed keeping the dog off the grass. Think about it. What did you try to do that you failed the first time, but succeeded when you tried again? How did you finally succeed? You could also say, what did you try to do that you missed the first time, but succeeded when you tried again? How did you finally succeed? So again, number 4 is failed. Another word for failed or a synonym for failed is missed. Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a man is helping another man by opening the door for that person. And that's a very kind, nice gesture to do. In the second picture, I notice someone is giving a flower to another person and they're happy about it. In the third picture, I notice a girl is opening a door for it looks like her grandmother or an older person and is being very kind. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all show polite. Polite, P-O-L-I-T-E, polite. Polite means nice, well-mannered actions. Be kind to others. Nice, well-mannered actions. Be kind to others. So a synonym or word that means the same is nice or well-mannered, polite. The sign reminds children to be polite or nice to others. This sign reminds children to be polite or nice to others. And again, polite means nice. So you could also say this sign reminds children to be well-mannered or nice to others. Well-mannered and nice means polite. Think about it. How is being polite to someone a way of being kind? Or how is being nice or well-mannered to someone a way of being kind. Polite, Polite, polite. Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice someone is tearing yellow paper. In the second picture, I notice someone's ripping a piece of paper, and it looks like the man in the third picture is also ripping up a paper because he's angry or upset about something. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They all show tearing. So the root word is tear, or comes from the word to tear, the action, tearing, Tear, tear, and then ing, tearing. That means they're doing it right this minute, tearing. Ripping or pulling it apart. Tearing means ripping or pulling something apart. Tearing. So a synonym or word that means the same is ripping. Ripping is tearing, and tearing is ripping. The worker is tearing apart this old sign. The worker is tearing apart this old sign. You could also say the worker is ripping apart this old sign. Think about it. What tools and machines would a crew need for safely tearing down a building? What tools and machines would a crew need for safely tearing down a building? You could also say, what tools and machines would a crew need for safely ripping down a building? So, next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice it looks like a boss is saying something stern to an employee. In the next picture, I notice a mom is getting after her son for eating the cake. And in the next picture, I notice a boy, looks like he might have broken a window, maybe by playing baseball. So, how are all these pictures the same or similar? They all Well, they all show trouble. 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 Trouble means problem, have difficulty with something. A problem, have difficulty with something. Trouble. So a synonym or a word that means the same is difficulty. Difficulty is the same as troubled. Without signs, drivers would have trouble knowing when to stop. Without signs, drivers would have trouble knowing when to stop. You could also say, without signs, drivers would have difficulty knowing when to stop. Think about it. What does it mean to stay out of trouble? Or you could say, what does it mean to stay out of having difficulty? Because when you're in trouble, it means you're having difficulty about something. You're having a problem. Next group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice it looks like a scientist just holding up his or her his invention, like the light bulb. Um, in the next picture, I notice an owl with a graduation cap is studying or is looking into books and learning something. In the next picture, I notice a man who looks like they're thinking deeply or meditating. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They all, well, they all show wisdom, 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 wisdom. Wisdom means knowledge and learning from experiences. Wisdom means knowledge and learning from experiences. So, a word that means the same or synonym for wisdom is knowledge, Knowledge. Knowledge comes from the word know, to know something, and wisdom also comes from the word wise. So, if you are full of wisdom, you are very wise and you know things and you are full of knowledge. And here's a picture of a sign. It says, "Be safe, drive slowly." The words of wisdom on this billboard teach us to act the right way. The words of wisdom on this billboard teach us to act the right way. So it says, "Be safe, drive safely," or slowly. So you could also say the words of knowledge on the billboard, on this billboard, teach us to act the right way. Think about it. Who do you know that has wisdom? How have they become wise? Who do you know who has wisdom? How have they become wise? You could also say, who do you know that has knowledge? How have they become full of that knowledge or wise? All right, time to check your work. Number one, assistant, a person who helps someone, a helper. And notice I highlighted the synonym helper. Number two, agreed. Agreed means accepted or had the same opinion or idea. And another word for agreed is accepted. I highlighted in yellow. Number three, cleared, made the place empty or neat. Emptied, I highlighted emptied as a synonym. Number four, failed, did not succeed, missed, and not able to do something. And again, the synonym is missed. Number five, polite, nice, well mannered actions, be kind to others. Number six, tearing. Tearing means ripping or pulling it apart. I think another word for tearing is ripping. Number seven, trouble, a problem, have difficulty with something. Another word for trouble is difficulty. Number eight, wisdom. To be full of wisdom means to have knowledge and learning from experiences. And another word for wisdom is knowledge. So at the top of your paper, I want you to reflect on the learning target. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the story, The Signmaker's Assistant. How do you think you did? Would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I easily said what I noticed about each group of pictures and how they were the same. Or would you give yourself a 3? I was able to say what I noticed about most of the pictures and how they were the same. Or would you give yourself a 2? I was able to say what I noticed about some of the pictures and how they were the same. Or would you give yourself a 1? I was not able to say what I noticed about any of the pictures or how they were the same. So, how do you think you did? 4, 3, 2, or 1? Write your reflection on the top, and thank you for going over the vocabulary important words with me today. Have a great day.